Welcome to Ethics Vault. Today we are going to be talking about the ethics of whistleblowing, when it is necessary, and is it safe. I'm your host, Magret Doe, and I'm going to be introducing my panelists, my respected and honored panelists to you all. So now, up to you.
I go by the name Dr. Nanajwa Ejri.
I'm Agbesi Esnam. I'm also Mensa Mavis Ayoko.
Okay. You didn't tell us what you do, what course are you studying, and all that. So please go ahead and do that.
So I'm in level 300,
Right.
public relations with marketing student.
And then also tell me what you do personally on the side.
Personally, I'm the PRO for Promas Limited. We are into cashew farming and then cocoa farming and so. And I sell shito as well too on the
Very
side.
good.
So,
All right. S&M.
Okay, I'm also a student of GIJ,
Right.
offering public relations with marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm also an affiliate marketer.
All
We
right.
sell people's products, and I'm also into clothing,
Okay.
and I model sometimes.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm a student of UNMAC IG, and I also do graphic designing as well. And I am part of an organization. It's
Okay.
an NGO
Okay.
advocating for persons with disability.
That's beautiful. So, welcome to the show Ethics Vault, and I'm happy to have you all here today. And now we'll just set right into it. We are going to be defining what whistleblowing is, and we'll give some examples of real life cases of whistleblowing. So, let me give you the opportunity to speak. SNM, what do you understand by whistleblowing?
Okay, so in simple terms, whistleblowing is just an act of reporting wrongdoing,
Okay.
misconduct, unethical behavior in organizations, institutions, schools, even in our homes.
Right.
As you guys can relate, even way back in our primary schools, you would just be in class talking. You would just realize one person has gone out. You just be there. A teacher will just come in, your head on the table. The person has gone to choke you. So that can also be a whistleblowing. So the
Okay.
person who does that is
Yeah.
called a whistleblower.
Called a whistleblower. Okay. So, Doctor, do you have any more explanation to what a whistleblower is? What you understand by it?
So, okay, to me, as SNM said, a whistleblower is somebody that goes to report wrongdoings. And I think with the example that she gave, when it comes to our normal settings,
Right.
I think we were doing it unprofessional. We were doing it in an unprofessional way or an illegal way.
Yeah.
By going to school, studying, we now know that whistleblowing is, there are legal processes that you're going to follow to be a whistleblower. So for me, a whistleblower is somebody reporting wrongdoings. And I think we all at a point have been a whistleblower in our lives.
Okay. Okay. So, do you have anything to add, Mavis?
Yeah, sure. I think organizations to create an atmosphere that promotes whistleblowing.
Yeah.
Because when individuals feel safe in the organization to report wrongdoings, they are able to come out and report them.
Okay. So, do you guys have any instances, real life cases of whistleblowing? If anybody has, you can share with us, and let's.
Okay. With the example of Ayariga.
Okay.
Yeah, going to I think he's the OSP, or he reported it.
No, he's the MP for Boku.
Okay, so he reported the wrongdoing that was going on, and I would term this as an external what do we call it?
Whistleblowing. Okay.
Because we have the internal ones which you can go and report to your HR, to your manager or something, but with this example, he went external because he went to report it to the media because he wanted something to be done about it.
Yeah, that was about the new bank.
Yes.
Bank of Ghana.
Yes. So
construction issues and all that.
Yeah,
he used his status as an MP, which is the statutory.
Yes, and I think he used this the law governing whistleblowing from Act
702.
702 years 2006. So I think that's a clear example.
Okay. Do you also have an example to give us?
Yeah, there's one example I have, but not really into details. I don't know if it's Vena mineral water.
Vena, okay.
Yeah. There's I think I don't know if it's last 5 years or something like that, but there was a case where they were like, there's
Snake or
in their
something
tank.
in their tank.
Okay.
To the extent that when you look at their packaging, there's something there. People were, I don't know, Ghanaians. They were all over. They were like, "That's the snake sign. That's the symbol." We're like, "What?"
Really?
So,
Yeah.
someone, I don't know. It was an external. We'll term it as an external
Whistleblowing,
whistleblower
okay.
because someone came out spreading the news, and it came out to be false.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think it made Verna recall their product again, and I think now they are doing very well in the market.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any? No. Okay, so now we'll move on to our second question.
Okay.
Now we have to provide examples of very famous whistleblowing situations that happen, and we've done that already. So now we are going to explain the differences between the internal whistleblowing and the external whistleblowing. So who is going to start first?
I got this. So internal whistleblowing basically occurs when employees report misconduct in the organizations to someone within the organization.
Okay.
It can be the HR or using emails, direct meetings with supervisors, among others.
Okay.
Now, the employees see the internal whistleblowing as the first step to take to correct
Misconduct and improprieties in the company. Yeah.
organization. Yeah, that is the internal whistleblowing. So when we look at the external whistleblowing, they report misconduct to external bodies. It can be the government agencies, the media. Others use their social media handles to report misconduct.
Okay.
Now, when we look at the internal whistleblowing, when management feel or did not respond to the complaints of the misconduct early, that is where employees look for other alternative like the external whistleblowing to report it so that management can actually do something about the issue.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, per your explanation, then with Anna Sayumiao, we can say he's an external whistleblower. Or what do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Though he's a CID, but he's also an external whistleblower. Yeah.
Because
of the works he does.
he
It does.
because he brings what is hidden inside to
the outside world.
And
Oh,
I think
okay.
it always gets the attention.
So can we cite some examples of an internal and an external?
I want to chip in something before you come.
Okay, sure.
So, external whistleblower can be someone within the organization who goes over to report to external bodies.
Okay.
It can also be customers or public, the general public, who notice a misconduct of the organization and then decide to report it to the media.
Okay.
That's it.
But it's not just the media, right?
Yeah, not just the media.
And I also know that whistleblowing disclosure has to be with good intent.
Of
Yes.
course.
Exactly. Disclosure has to be with a good intent. As a whistleblower, from what I've read and know from the Constitution of Ghana, the Act 720, it says that you have to have very good intent for whistleblowing. That you don't have to have malicious mindsets or intents about somebody or a company for you to gain favor. So if you want to be a good whistleblower, you need to actually have very good intents before you do that. And do we also have some examples of the external whistleblowing situations that have happened?
Okay. I don't think this is maybe something famous that people would know, but I'll give a personal experience about this external whistleblowing. So I used to work in a company.
Okay.
Yeah, and I cannot disclose that company because I'm no more working with them. So there was an issue going on, and it was really critical because it was something that if you do not talk about it, you might end up losing your job.
Yeah.
But these people that you go and do the
Report the
whistleblowing
issue.
to, they are the main host of that problem. They are the ones creating that problem. And then you cannot go to them because at the end of the day, you are going to somebody to save you, and you find out that he's actually the devil. He's actually performing that thing. So one of our girls took it upon herself to go outside the company to talk about it to another. So I think we were sharing the floor with one company.
Another company.
Yes. But because of we sharing the floor, we became like friends, So it was really bothering her because at that time, there was no jobs and everybody wanted to secure their jobs. So she was like, if I would talk to this person to talk to my management, then I think something will be done. So I think that's an external whistleblowing because she went to say the thing and things were corrected because the management felt like they will be exposed. So if they don't put measures into place, their reputation might be at stake. So I think that's an example.
It's an external.
Okay. So, but there are procedures for whistleblowing.
Yes.
There are procedures as well. So can we highlight on some procedures for whistleblowing? Let me state one. They say that you have to make whistleblowing can be made either with oral reports, like you can speak whilst somebody records, and whilst you speak, somebody has to also be writing it as well. Whistleblowing, some procedure too can be in form of investigations. You can also be assisted by the court to go through this procedure of whistleblowing. Another one too is report submissions. Investigative journalists or findings have to be reported to the Attorney General.
I think an answer mayor.
Exactly, that's what he does. So has to be reported to the Attorney General before it can be taken into consideration, and the processes go on and on and on and on like that. When does whistleblowing become necessary? Now, we've had instances where people know about certain situations that are very detrimental to either the government or even people, very high people in authority. Like they have informations on them that when they bring it out, it'll be like very groundbreaking. Like it will either destroy their public image forever and all that. So now, when does it become necessary for us to whistleblow?
I think when there is ethical dilemma.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Whistleblowing is very necessary when it's ethical dilemma because you need to report, you need to whistleblow.
And report wrongdoings.
In ethical dilemmas, there can be illegal problems, there can be financial problems.
Fraud.
So
Issues of
if
fraud.
you find yourself in this state as a whistleblower, I think you should go and blow the whistle
And report.
And just as you said, there are procedures to do that. So I think when you go through these procedures and you are able, they give you the go ahead to go and do the whistleblowing. I think you should do. And I want to use a theory.
Yeah.
To
explain
talk about, to explain this. So we have a theory called utilitarianism theory, and this theory postulates that is the greatest. You are thinking about the people. You're thinking about the max. You're not thinking about your personal stuff. You're thinking about. So, let me cite an example that you are in an organization where there's unscrupulous things going on, and you feel like you want to talk, but you can't talk. Just think of this theory, utilitarianism, because you are not going to whistleblow for your own personal gains. And a whistleblower is supposed to have a clear conscience. You are not supposed to have any hate. You're not supposed to have any kind of.
You have to have reasonable grounds. Yeah.
So if you have reasonable grounds, I think you should use the utilitarianism theory. Think about the greatest, because if you do not go and blow the whistle and this thing becomes big, is actually going to spoil the company's reputation. It's going to spoil your reputation. I don't think if something happens and then maybe it's in your resume that you worked with this organization and then you go to another, they are going to hire you. They are not going to hire you because eventually what you didn't report has become huge and everybody knows it, and then you go and be like, oh no, you work in this company, I don't want to associate myself with you. So I think when there are ethical dilemmas, whistleblowing is so very necessary. So I think
Okay.
You see, in certain cases, whistleblowing can be considered. That's maybe when the action or what is happening is not going to cause more harm. But in a case where something is happening and you feel no, if you don't take an action, this thing is going to either bring the company down or harm the public. So in that instance, whistleblowing is very important. So let's say we have something called a deontology.
Yeah.
It's also a theory.
Okay.
So it says that no matter what, even if they are going to kill you, you just say the truth.
Okay.
So let's say in an organization where you feel, oh, what if I come out and I lose my job? It doesn't matter. Just come. And just come out and say the truth, no matter what. Maybe that can be an opportunity for you.
Okay.
You come out, you say the truth. Maybe they'll be like, fine, you've gone to disclose something. You are not going to work here anymore.
There are organizations who like honest people.
Yeah.
They might even employ you.
They'll employ you.
Okay.
You might
So it's
even get
very
big
necessary.
pay, more pay than the ones you are losing. Sometimes you have to take the risk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's high time organization walk the walk rather than just talk the talk.
Thank you,
Most organizations have their mission and vision statements. So they should do what is in their mission and vision statement rather than going and harming the society. Some can also stick to CSR activities to give back to the society.
Okay. Okay. So, how has technology changed the atmosphere of whistleblowing and then social media and all the other medias that have come?
Okay.
New media, should I say, in general?
Okay, so I think the advent of technology has contributed to whistleblowing positively and negatively.
Okay.
When we look at the positive aspects, individuals or employees can report misconduct without going through the long procedures in the organizations.
Okay.
So when they take their smartphones, they go through their social media handles, and then with evidence, they report wrongdoings in the organization to the general public. Social media also have a broad reach.
Yeah.
A lot of people can view the misconduct and then help, together with government, provide solutions to such misconduct.
Okay.
Again, when we look at the negative aspect,
Yeah.
because of the advent of technology, a lot of people take advantage of it and come to report. They tell false information, so
Okay.
misinformation.
Right.
That is not the actual thing on the ground, but they come out there to mislead us so that they gain for their personal interest or something.
Yeah.
I think the advent of technology has both a positive and negative impact. But overall, it has improved how whistleblowing is done because you don't have to go through long procedures.
To talk to people, to talk to this person, talk to
And
this person.
I
Like,
think when in terms of this technological advancement, I think investigative journalists use it a lot. It's really to their advantage because you can whistleblow and then your identity is very safe. Look at Anas Aremi. Like till date, we don't know his actual face.
yeah. So can we also say that the oral team that has been unveiled by, should I say, the government, the oral team, Operation Recover All Loops, where they said they even opened their phone lines and there were a lot of reports. They said within an hour, over thousands of messages.
Then
People were reporting a lot of issues. Yes.
I think one thing that motivated them is that you are not known.
Like their identity is secured.
Just like social media, let's say TikTok. I can be behind an account, but you won't know I'm the one.
Yeah.
I'll just come out
and
spill out the truth. You'll never know I'm the one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's
actually,
true.
it's really a good thing.
And even there are some apps that they'll say, tell me something that is
Anonymous.
Yes, anonymous, right? Like stuff like
people
that.
say the truth, and I'm like, Ish,
Serious, right?
really?
Wow.
So they hide behind their identity
And do a lot of things.
Sometimes it's so good because you get to know the real. Like if you're doing something and you want honest opinion, just put that anonymous thing there. And
The messages are you get a lot of replies and comments. That's actually very good. Now, as PR professionals as we are, how can we ensure ethical communication in our field?
Just being transparent.
Being transparent.
Truthful.
But sometimes being transparent can cost you. So how do we deal with such
really
situations?
In detail, you can be transparent by putting or chipping in some honesty in everything you do.
Yeah.
It's not really into details because sometimes when you give into details into something that you are doing, people are going to take it the wrong way.
Yeah.
But if there's some iota of truth in whatever thing you are saying, I think that it's good because as transparent as you should be. It's not everything that you can come out there and come and be like, oh, this. Let's take Sewa Amihia's
issue. Yeah.
about this thing.
Yeah.
She came out saying, after the backlash and everything, she came out saying, yes, I am the one. But this was done long time ago. She told you, yes, she didn't give you the time.
Yeah.
When she didn't give you any specific, but she told you that I am the one. So I think as people, we should be transparent. We should own up to things. We shouldn't try to go with the flow that, oh, PR practitioners are liars. No. There should be honesty, but we are not going to give you into details if there's no need for that. We can tell you, oh yes, it has happened, but we are solving it or this. So I think transparency is one of the things as PR professionals we should.
Okay. So
aside the transparency, I feel they should establish a clear communication channel.
Exactly.
See, we were talking about this anonymous something. They should just create something like that for their organizations. It should be distributed to their publics, their stakeholders. So if you feel my organization is doing something you don't like, you can just use that channel instead of going outside spreading fake news or telling them
misinformation.
Sometimes and they are saying the truth, but the way and manner they just bring the thing, it sounds so offensive. So even if there's truth in it, people are not even going to jump on it. I think if they should use this anonymous thing,
it'll be very good.
Very good.
But I see in some hospitals they would put some boxes there and say if there's any misconduct, you should like they say write a letter or sometimes even call. You even see it on people who are driving people's cars. They'll say for reckless driving call.
I've written that thing before. I took my younger sister to the clinic. Instead of them giving her a bed, you see, my brother works there. My brother wasn't there. My sister sat in the chair with a drip.
Wow.
So
experienced some before.
You also experienced some before. Wow.
I placed it in there. I was expecting them to
and they'll call you back for any further communication.
They've been bending.
So what's the purpose? If you put that thing there, you will not be doing anything about it.
That's why technology is
also
good.
I think the PR professionals, they should also prepare a crisis communication plan.
Exactly. That was just the question I was about to ask. Like in issues of whistleblowing, how can PR professionals ensure that the situation of communication around whistleblowing is done right? How can they ensure that?
They should just prepare a crisis communication plan.
Yeah, how can they manage crisis during whistleblowing situations and cases as PR professionals in organizations, etc.? What are some of the examples you can give to that? Mavis, do you have anything to tell me? Okay, so the question is, in situations of whistleblowing, crisis management, crisis communication, how can PR professionals help curb such situations in whistleblowing crisis?
Providing clear narrative, mitigating reputational damage. Like the way a company communicates can greatly affect public's perception in long term. So when they, as S&M said, they should create a clear channel.
Communication channel.
So when you are clear and concise, I think people are going to understand you, and if people are heated, they would calm down, because sometimes I feel like PR professionals or people that are spokesperson of a company, if they are crisis management, they just want to cool off people. They just want to see something for the temporary solution that, oh, this, that. But no, you should be clear with the narrative
and objectives.
You should be very clear that this is it. Accept it. One thing I know is first step to resolve a problem is to accept the fault. So when we are clear that, okay, yes, we did it, we should give a very good and concise narrative that, oh, this, that has happened to this, and we are doing this
to solving the issue.
But if you should just say, oh, calm down, within 2 days everything will be fine. Within 2 days, and people will be like, oh, you said this, you said that. You let's just even give ourselves. If somebody promises you something And then that time reach, you'd be like, oh, I'm back. You are disappointed. You are not clear. Maybe you were expecting something from somewhere, but it didn't happen. But when you are clear and concise, like you, if 2 days it's not in, they know that, oh, you've not given them a specific period of time to do that.
But don't you think companies should do the right things to avoid people in code snitching on them? Some people are just so full of corruption.
I know, right?
They are so full of
But
corruption.
In every good there is bad.
Yeah.
We all can be good. No matter what.
All right. So guys,
Over and above that, PR professionals should also assist in the the investigating process to uncover the truth behind it.
issues.
So
Okay.
even before that, they should take the whistleblowing issue very serious.
Yeah.
Because some of them
And
just
act
overlook
promptly.
it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this thing will
It's
die.
nothing.
It will die
Okay.
right
Okay.
now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we have just come to the end of our episode 1 for whistleblowing, and we'll be inviting our second moderator, who is Suhini Sulemana, to come and continue. But I want to also state that there is a reward for whistleblowers according to the Ghanaian constitution. Now, the whistleblower fund rewards individuals who discloses leads to recovery of public assets and successful prosecutions. So we should all take note that whistleblowing necessarily is not a bad act, but doing it on reasonable grounds and in good faith is what we are asking people to be doing. So thank you all for joining me for the episode 1 of the Ethics Vault. It was really nice having you all here. And thank you so much for coming.
Welcome.
Bye-bye.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Ethical Vault, where we dive right into communication ethics and today's organizational dynamics. We are diving right into when it is necessary to blow whistle and how safe the whistleblower. I have with me here colleagues from the University of Media Arts Communications, and we are going to be looking into this particular topic into details. Betty, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Betty, a student of Unpack IJ, and I'm in level 300, and I'm offering the program of
Public relation.
I'm offering public relations with marketing. Yeah.
Okay, that's so nice. We also have with us here Comfort. Can you tell us more about yourself?
I'm Comfort Suga, also offering PR with marketing, a level 300 student.
Okay, and we have another great mind here, Ruby.
Okay, we'll be at the students of Unimac IJ, offering public relations with marketing, and I'm also an upcoming chef.
Wow, that's amazing. So, inspired by communication experts, Ralph and Liz Yeomans, we are looking into whistleblowing. And the question is, when is it necessary to whistleblow? And how safe is the whistleblower? We are going straight to look at Ghana. Are they the major common sectors or industries where whistleblowing is mostly common? Comfort, do you want to look into this?
Okay, so as we discussed earlier, whistleblowing goes on in government sectors. That is schools, hospitals, and other stuffs around us. So I think with the education aspect, example can be we students, our classes, what goes on. So I remember during our entrepreneur fair, we did some flyers going around for people to donate and help us sponsor our entrepreneur fair. And later the lecturers were complaining that they've heard and seen that students are doing that and they do not like it. So they heard from where a particular student, that is whistleblowing, yeah? They went to tell the lecturer about whatever that is going on. So that are some of the examples that goes on in the schools.
Okay, that's amazing. Do you want to add into that, Betty?
Yeah, I think whistleblowing also occurs in the corporate sectors. I mean, the public sectors.
Yeah.
So when something bad is going on in an organization, I mean, something unethical, there is always going to be someone who will bring it out, and in an ethical way for that matter.
Yes, that is amazing. So whistleblowing is actually common in our government sector, especially our public sectors. Not long ago, there was a news that the public schools are now feeding their children with expired food.
Yeah.
So this was actually a news, and in fact, had it been nobody come to talk about it, I think they would have just been fed with the food, and it would have adverse health impact on the children. So, Ruby, would you want to tell us some of the legal, regulations in Ghana or maybe across the world that that protects whistleblowers?
Okay, so in Ghana here, we have a Whistleblower Protection Act. Looking at Whistleblower Act 2006, Section 17, we have police protection. So in this case, let's just say someone reports for fraud, reports someone who is into fraud and all that. The police would protect this person. And then in the case where they have a family, maybe a spouse, children, grandparents, or anyone at all, the police can protect all these people so that whoever that person wants to report for being a fraud or something, they'll protect them so that nothing might happen to the family of that person who went to report. That's the whistleblower.
Or even the person himself. Also.
Yes. Okay. Also, Whistleblower Act 2006, Section 24, we have legal protection. That's where we have the Commission for Human Rights, Administrative, and then Justice, protecting these people and then letting them know the right they have when they go and report someone for any action that they do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, in Ghana, we do have the legal framework that protects whistleblowers, especially I think the one managing it or the institution that is popularly known when it comes to protecting whistleblowers is the Special Prosecutor Office. Did I get the name right? Yes.
Yes.
So where the act is there, if you know of any corruption or any wrongdoing in any institution, then you can actually reach out to the institution, and then you will have your details protected. Your identity will be protected in such a way that you are safe, and then we can get to correct the mess. Okay, so we are going straight to look at another aspect of whistleblowing. Now we want to know, even though there are legal legislations protecting whistleblowers, what consequence do whistleblowers normally face, especially when they get to know? Okay. Maybe Betty will take this first.
Sure. So even though there are regulations or rules that are protecting the whistleblower, there are also certain consequences, or let me say risks, that they face. For instance, a whistleblower might lose his or her job because of bringing out something that is unethical or something that is bad within an organization. Yes, a misconduct within an organization. So here we see that most of them, even though they are doing the right thing, they end up being stigmatized as, let me say, sellouts. You see?
Yeah.
So they will be laid off of their jobs because it's assumed that it is not safe working with them. And another one is also threats from, let me say, the public as well. So
Yes.
a whistleblower, though they are doing their job, as I said earlier, they are doing a great job, as I said earlier. There are certain people who are not really comfortable or who are not really okay with them blowing the whistle about misconduct in their organization. Okay, so these people go ahead to threaten the whistleblower, you see. So that can even cause them to even take their lives, you see. So I remember during one of our courses back in level 200, media communication theories, you see. So certain investigative journalists were tortured, some were threatened, even some got killed because they brought out something unethical, let me say corruption within the government sector. So there are other things that the whistleblower might face, though there are laws governing or laws protecting them from harm. So,
Yes. Okay. My colleagues, Ruby, would you want to contribute? Do you have something to say about the consequence of whistleblowing? How about Comfort?
Okay, so I would want to say that it is appropriate for someone to become a whistleblower because it creates transparency. And I think if you do that too, it makes you credible as well. Some people might see it to be wrong, but it's very ethical to do that.
Okay.
and also certain organizations, before you work with them, they will let you sign NDAs, non-disclosure agreements. So with the intention that even if something goes bad in the organization, even if you spot a misconduct in an organization, you wouldn't disclose it to anyone, not internally, not to talk of externally. So when something, as humans, we are, as PR practitioners, we go by certain theories that help us to make ethical decisions. You can't be looking at something that is going bad or a misconduct that you think might harm the masses and just keep mute on it. So even though they signed those agreements, they can go ahead and blow the whistle. So with that, there are consequences the organization can, or let me say punishments the organization can lay on the whistleblower. Yes.
Wow, that is amazing. Do you want to add some more?
Yeah, so adding up to what Betsy said, I remember way back in SHS, I was in my final year, and the form ones who were getting admitted into the school, one teacher of ours came to inform us that we shouldn't be moving around anyhow because there are the media people and the journalists around who are interviewing people without your knowledge. They might be having a phone in their pockets with their camera on, like videoing you, asking you questions, and then you may end up saying something that you are not supposed to say. All this too can also be accounted for you being a whistleblower.
Okay, so I am quite interested in that. Was there anything happening in your school at that particular time when they give you that advice?
Yeah, there was an issue going on in terms of the students going out of the school to have parties without asking for permission. And then there was a lady, like, she also had an issue of some of the students, what do we call it, taking money from her for sending her news to them without she knowing that, like, they are also students of the school. And he didn't want anything of that case to go outside.
Okay. So in that case, he had something to hide, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is actually projects the kind of importance of whistleblowing. So, to add to this, I think whistleblowers often face a lot of consequence, especially when their identity is exposed. For instance, some renowned journalists such as Manasa Azure Awini, who has done some works with regards to corruptions and other misconducts in the public sector, most times his life is under threat. And other journalists, such as you all know Anas Armia Anas, his life is always under threat because he has done some works that lead to the prosecution and exposure of some people, some great personalities who were indulging some wrongdoings. So the consequence is mostly once your identity is known or is made public, then you will get to lose certain things. It could be your job, it could be you are no longer safe, you have to beef up your security, and other things that will help you. And if you don't have an independent source of livelihood, that means you are going to suffer because you are likely to lose your job. So whistleblowing, mostly the whistleblower is not safe because the one you are exposing is actually not happy with you and would do all what they can, or the least opportunity that they get, they would want to do something to harm you in order to prevent you from causing more harm to them. All right. So, what do you guys have any other thing else to say about whistleblowing?
Okay, so whistleblowing shouldn't be seen as something that is not good in the society, you see, because it's actually something that would put people on their toes, because when you know that there is someone out there or someone close to you who can expose your wrongdoings, you would try your best, or you would do everything possible to avoid or getting into or dealing with something, let me say a misconduct within an organization. You see, you try your best to always be ethical for your issue or maybe your wrongdoings to not come outside for people to see, because when you do something wrong and it has been exposed, there is an embarrassment attached with that one. I will not lie. So just be ethical in all your doings. That's all.
Okay.
So are we good to go, or does anyone has anything else to say? Ruby, Comforts?
Those in the corporate section, you should sometimes be careful of how you say something you are not supposed to say for fear of losing your job or being fired.
All right. Thank you so much. That was insightful. So, all in all, what we are trying to say is that determining when it is necessary to blow the whistle, it depends on how severe the severity of the case or the issue. And also, you also have to take into consideration your safety and other issues that is relevant to your well-being. Whistleblowing will help correct the wrongs and actually save some assets. For instance, if it is the government sector, it will kind of save our public purse, like they say, or protect a certain institution from going bad, like which will affect the public. So determining when it is necessary to blow the whistle actually depends on you, and then what you want to do to help our society. Also, your safety matters. Even though there are laws protecting whistleblowers, there are still consequences, especially when you get to know. When people get to know that you did XYZ, which led to their arrest or their exposure to what they did behind the scenes. So you also need to take into consideration. So I want to thank my panelists for their time and insightful contributions. you want to say something?
Yeah. So you may be wondering or asking yourself that is whistleblowing entirely safe or not? Per my perception, whistleblowing is not safe, although there are rules and legal actions guiding or protecting whistleblowers.
Okay.
So it's not really safe.
Yeah, it is not safe.
Okay. That
The
is
whistleblower is not safe
All right.
entirely.
Not
Yes,
not the
all right.
how
and
should
not the
I-
corporate, but the whistleblower.
the person doing the action.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all in all, we are concluding that the whistleblower is not entirely safe,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And also, when it is necessary to blow the whistle,
Blow
depends on the person
Yeah.
and what you want to achieve. Is that what you are trying to say?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what we are saying.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. And this session was a continuity of episode 1 hosted by Margaret Doe. And we have come to the end of the whole session. My panelists have helped me to dive deep into the question, is whistleblowing entirely safe, and when is it necessary to blow the whistle? We hope you have learned and will also get to understand or know when it is necessary to blow the whistle, especially when you found yourself in any other in any organization. Thank you so much for your time, and we would like to hear from you, your opinion on whistleblowing.